Brooklyn is different. It's quieter, laid back, maybe with a joint in her hand compared to Mother Manhattan. More space to breathe, to think. We hope to interview someone in New York before we continued west. To our delight, Jillian Mercado, a fashion supermodel and real-life superhero to everyone who knows her, answered our call. Jillian is the only person with spastic muscular dystrophy to be featured on the cover of Teen Vogue. We met up at Bond Hardware, a sustainable jewelry label in Brooklyn, to catch up. Mental health seems to be not only a topic that is important forever, but something that is really interesting to look at anything through.
Like you said, it's a very, very important topic, and I think that more people should be talking about it than they already do. Like, it should be in every topic. It should be in every school curriculum, always. It's so important. I was always the only one who looked way more different than everybody else, as far as I had a visible disability. So I was, in hence, the easiest target for bullying. And in middle school, I definitely got hit with that one. And it makes it harder to grow up. It makes it harder to identify who you are and to figure out where you are in this world. And if you don't have a good support system, it's hard to, to feel accepted and wanted. So it was very, very tricky for me because I was trying to figure out why my disability was a negative thing, why these girls in particular thought that I should be just like them, when in fact they should probably have been more like me and more accepting and welcoming to people who are different and don't look the same. So it was very tricky for me growing up, trying to figure out to love myself before trying to fit into something that I obviously didn't fit in, and then that was okay and perfectly fine.
Our generation, I feel, because we have so much access to social media and to so many things,
to opinions,
we can put ourselves out there and really start to dissect and have conversations with ourselves about mental health. Because mental health is something that what we're trying to do here is show that mental health, it's not just the person who has bipolar disorder who's dealing with mental health.
Everyone goes through it. Every single person on this earth goes through it. And that's the thing that's interesting about the topic, is that not one person on this earth doesn't go through some sort of either trauma, some sort of situation where they just, it's like a problem-solving situation. We all have days where we're not feeling well mentally. We all have days where we're really happy. It's just that's just a human experience to go through. And I think that we're always put on this notion that, being depressed and feeling like an outsider or an introvert, it's like a bad thing, which is not. It's not a bad thing at all, And I think that we have to kind of reword the language of mental health and make it more accessible and more inviting to everyone to have conversations and talk about it like this.
Well, even just going back to when you were saying when you were in middle school, after having some bullying, some stuff going on in school, then you would go home and flip through magazines and you wouldn't see the representation that you are representing now in culture and in media. So what do you think that modern 13-year-old Jillian Mercado that's out there now and picks up a Teen Vogue and sees you on it, what would have gone through your head?
She'd be like, get the heck out. She would freak out. I know for the facts that I would see that and go, wait, this doesn't, I don't know, does this, I would be in total confusion, not knowing, because all my life, when I was younger, disability was a bad thing. Disability was like a wrong thing. Disability was like, you know, this was a mistake of like Mother Nature, of you being here. So seeing that, even though deep in my heart during that time, collecting magazines and like being so infatuated with fashion, there was something inside that I knew that it was going to happen one way or another, that I was going to make some sort of difference in the industry, because that's where I felt most safe and most myself. So I would have definitely, if I would have seen me or anybody, you know, with a visible disability on the cover of Vogue, I would have blown it up, framed it in my room, like next to my Britney Spears poster that I had, and was like goals, like every morning wake up to this photo. Like this is exactly what the industry should have been doing a very long time ago.
It amazes me just following you on social media. We know each other through activism, and it amazes me that you're clearly, your main thing is fashion and you're a model, but you use your reach and the followers that you have and just your whole persona to be an activist.
Of course, you have to be.
Why?
It's funny because when I met you, that was through the organization Invisible Children. And for me, it didn't seem like activism. It was just like, that was my duty. That was like duh, everyone should be, the whole world should be here right now, because it's something that's going on in the world that's wrong and that's unfair and unjust. And if you have the privilege enough to give voices to people who don't, why not use it? So for me, it didn't seem as I was acting as an activist, even though it was. I just felt like that was my duty. Like that was something that was already in my life book to do, to be there, to represent, like going to marches and, you know, being in the Women's March a year ago. Like that was the same feeling I had. Like everyone there was there because they needed to be there, because what was going on was so extremely unjust that we had to all come together and, you know, disregard political views or, you know, sexual orientation or religion beliefs. We were all there for one thing, and it was, you know, to speak out, to be together. And during that time, and you know, during all times, I always use my platform because I have the privilege of reaching out to so much people. Why not? Why not use that platform to do good in this world? And it's a responsibility that people who have a following should do.
Yeah. So I want to just kind of switch gears
Yes.
here and talk to you about the modeling industry as an industry. We know that the fashion industry is a polluter, is bad for the environment in some ways, but then we also know that the fashion industry is filled with a lot of progressive people who are looking at representation culturally and in all facets of representation.
I mean, don't get me wrong, every industry has their good and bad, you know? It's not, the fashion industry is just seen more in the negative side because that's like the focus is always, it's always entertaining to look at the negative side of things until it becomes too harmful for the community. But there's been so many great things that the fashion industry has done, that, which is why I felt so at home when I decided this is what I'm going to be doing and this is the world that I'm going to be entering. From what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm a living example that, you know, the industry is capable to move forward. And people like me who are sick of seeing the same cookie cutter, same thing, because this world is so diverse that people should be included in every single conversation. So I think that now with social media, thankfully, and now with understanding that there is a need for diversity, that's where it's moving forward. I think that we have such an interesting time where when we see things that should not be going the direction they should, we stop it and we change it and we go, how can we make this better? How can, you know, we make this creative and visually pleasing and all of that, but also how can we attach a message to this? Because, you know, back in the day, models were considered mannequins. That's it. No voice, no thought, just mannequins. And now we're seeing this uproar of people who have influence, designers, creative directors, models who have a voice and are using that platform to voice their opinions and to yes, work with the industry. Don't go against it, but work with it. How can I be of service to make this industry the industry that in my mind I know it can be? And that's what we're seeing now, which I'm like obviously super ecstatic about, and blessed that I had such a passion and such a hope for this industry that many people were like, this is a lost cause. I don't know why you're doing this. But I knew deep in my heart that there's people that I've met who I'm still friends with who are really changing the industry for, generations to come, and so that they can see that it's possible.
And what's next? What's next for you?
World domination. Keep fighting the good fight, and travel as much as I can, and having as much conversations like I'm doing right now. Because like I said before, when you have the power to influence people, use it. Help somebody.
Jillian took a subway and a bus across the city on a day where even the bricks dripped beads of sweat. Once our conversation ended, we packed the lights, camera, mics, and tripods, and as the sun began to set, we cooled down on a dusky drive back through the city. We are on our way to Ohio, followed by Madison, Wisconsin, and then to Minnesota, where we will meet a community of diversified people looking to make change.